And a very, very warm welcome. This is Strong and Sassy here on your superstation Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Animwaa Anim Addo, and I'll be your host tonight. Let me take a minute to say a very big thank you to Akofa for sitting in for me for the past almost 3 months. And thank you to all of you for staying tuned in. I mean, I know you could be anywhere on a Wednesday night, but you choose to be here with us, and we're super grateful for that. Well, once again, welcome, welcome, welcome. How's your week been? I hope you're having a good time. Looking forward to the holiday coming up. Ghana turned 68. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Also, really amazing, of course, is International Women's Day, because women are amazing. And so tonight we're going to have a conversation about women in agribusiness. And joining me for tonight's conversation, which is going to be a mix of a lot of different things, because there's the expo, and then there's the actual agriculture, and then there's the Miss Agriculture, so like beauty and agriculture. Like us for women, dear, when we are doing something is extra crap. All right, diving straight into it. Tonight I'm joined by Mrs. Theresa Ayoade, CEO for Charterhouse. I think she was here last year, this show, just before International Women's Day last year, right? Yeah. So thank you for coming again.
Thank you for having me.
I think we should get used to spending International Women's Day with you, right?
It's becoming a tradition.
It is, isn't it? And also Esther Trewa Chumisi. Now, Esther is the founder for Miss Agriculture Ghana. Yes, I hadn't heard about it either. I'm really intrigued. And she's also the co-founder for the Chamber of Women in Agribusiness, Chawa. And I am also joined by Enyonam Manya Ajete, who is the founder for the Ghanaian Farm. So that's our show tonight. You're all welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So Theresa, let me start with you, because the National Women's Summit and Expo this year chose to spotlight on women in agribusiness.
Yes.
Which is quite interesting.
Yes.
So tell me, first of all, why you decided that's what you wanted to do this year.
Okay. So we wanted to kill two birds with one stone.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why that as we progress. But having done the National Women's Summit for a few years now, this is the 7th edition, we sat down to think about what else could we do apart from having the general conversations around womanhood. Normally our panels focus on women in the corporate and public sector, and women entrepreneurs, and of course the youth. So we said, why don't we do a deep dive into the various sectors of the economy where women are playing strong roles, and try to engage with women in the sector, find out what their issues are, what their challenges are, and how we can throw the spotlight on how women are really contributing to the economy, in various ways.
Yeah.
And then we also have a new event we have coming up, which is also going to be launched on Fridays, called the Gastro Festival.
Sounds like food.
Yes, food. It's all about food. it's gastro from gastronomy, and feasts from feasting.
Two amazing words.
So Gastro Festival. Yes. So we designed that event to as an industry event for the food sector.
Okay.
Because we realized that we didn't really have an event that was all-encompassing, that brought the entire food value chain together, and had a conversation around it, and highlighted everything about the food industry. Most of the time when food events are done, they are done from the consumption side. Food, eat and drink, come and let's eat, drink, have fun kind of events. But we thought that the food industry is a much more serious industry, it's much bigger, more encompassing, and I think apart from the enjoyment aspect, there's a full economic aspect to it.
Right. Okay.
So we thought let's look at it from end to end.
Okay.
So this event is about throwing a spotlight on the industry from farm to table.
Okay.
How we get the food, how it's processed, how it's distributed, and how it comes to our table, and what we do with it when it gets to us.
So there'll be food.
There'll be food. It's all about food. It's all about
like
food.
Imagine talking about food the whole day. And then there's the food.
It's all about food. And so that's what the Gastro Festival is about.
Okay.
So seeing that we're going to do that, we thought that why don't we then make the spotlight that we want to have on the food sector, agribusiness.
Okay.
So then it was a perfect synergy.
Yes.
We want to do an industry spotlight. We have an agribusiness program coming up. So let's do the spotlight for the women in that sector and make it coincide with International Women's Day. So that's how it came together. So we said for the industry spotlight, we will create a panel discussion focusing on just that sector. So we have the Women in Agribusiness panel. And that got us into the space of agribusiness, going out there to look for them. So I actually had to hire somebody to be my community engager, to go out there and find out for me, bring us information on the agri sector, engage with all the players. So she comes to work every day. She's come, and it's just been an interesting journey. She'll be mentioning all sorts of people to me who are doing great and wonderful things in
agriculture.
Yes,
right?
you know. So it took us wanting to know about the industry, to meet all these wonderful ladies doing great things in agriculture. So we said, wow, this is really interesting. And I'm excited. I cannot wait for the rollout of the festival, because I know that we will be all so educated and so amazed about the great things being done already, despite the challenges and the huge and tremendous opportunities that exist in the industry. For me, women. I see every challenge as an opportunity. So it's a problem, that means that someone can fix it. And that's the opportunity. So then I'm hoping that at the end of the journey, so many opportunities would have been, brought to light. And we say Ghana is a land of opportunities. I believe so. And I think the agricultural sector is one of the areas where there's huge opportunities for youth, for women, and for any other person, anybody who's looking for something to do. There's opportunity. You have extra capital. Right now, you look around in Ghana, everywhere you pass, they're building apartments. Everywhere you turn, there's building up. I mean, people are putting their money. I mean, people need to know that there's opportunity in agriculture. We all don't have to do apartments. We can go back to the land, and take control of our food. Take our food power back in our hands. So that's the whole idea.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. So I'm going to talk to Esther, because I'm really curious about the Miss Agriculture. So tell us about Miss Agriculture, what it is, and really what you hope to achieve with the first place. Is it a beauty pageant, or is it a food pageant, or is it like what is it?
Great, thank you very much. Miss Agriculture Ghana, basically, I'll say, after every beauty pageant, the expected question from society is what the beauty queen is using the platform being given for. And I was fortunate to be part of Ghana's Most Beautiful in 2016. So afterwards, I chose a particular project that I thought the inspiration was already coming from my husband, who was already a farmer. So I was looking at how to portray agriculture the royal way to the young people out there. And it didn't just start, it started as a project where we visited various agricultural colleges, found out that most of the young women, even in those colleges, it's difficult to interact with their counterparts in the universities, like the Legons, the KNUSTs, because they feel as young women, they perceive them to be dirty. They see themselves as not beautiful, or just because they are doing something around agribusiness, perhaps they can't slay. So then how do we change that perception? How do we make them feel that we can as well slay on the red carpet and slay on the farm, just like Inunam does?
I'm laughing because I did agriculture in KNUST.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So, and I remember the feeling of like we were definitely not the slay queens on the farm, but also a certain feeling of almost inferiority. I chose agriculture because I was 16. So I wanted something that I felt wasn't ready to make major life choices, and I wanted something that I thought, okay, this would be useful for me. But there was a certain feeling of inferiority across, nice
girl.
why you do, like, farming.
I know, right?
But when you grow, I mean, you realize Like it's the basis of life, isn't it? It's food, it's animals, it's crops, it's all of those things.
So we ask ourselves that question. That's we feed everybody in Ghana. We feed the slave queens. We feed the doctors.
And then we are slave queens ourselves.
And it's possible. So
I'm going to do the pageants.
Charlie, you have to.
Okay, sure.
So we do this each and every year.
Okay.
And we're excited that the narrative is changing. Now there are young women who are proud of themselves.
Yeah.
They do the photo shoots, even on the farm. They do videos. They are not shy. They are not afraid to say, I'm a snail farmer. I'm doing cabbage. I'm doing that.
Doing tomatoes,
and we also try to let them know, you see, it's a whole sector. It's a whole value chain. There's the marketing aspect. You don't really even need to be on the farm. There's that aspect you can also take where people are adding value to already existing raw materials. You also are an accountant in the university. You are this and that. That knowledge, you can bring it to the sector to grow it. So it's been a beautiful journey for almost about 5 years and counting. And just like you mentioned, we've been growing bit by bit. And that's how we came into contact with Charter House and this great event. And thought that this is a great opportunity or platform for young women to be able to realize who they are and not be afraid or be shy to tell somebody that, hey, I'm a farmer or I do this along the agricultural value chain and I can slay as well.
So you work with your husband?
Not really, but I go on the farm as well with him most of the times. I also do my stuff on the side as well.
Okay. I mean, it's nice that you have first-hand experience. And then when you talk about it, then it's way more relevant because, you're kind of associated and promoting as well. So great stuff. So Enyonyam, the Ghanaian farmer, what's that about?
Thank you very much. Good evening to you and your audience. The Ghanaian farmer started in 2020 during COVID era that everybody was locked up in their room and they can't step out to do anything. And as a trained journalist and a PR, I only learned at Greek in senior high school.
Okay.
And so I'm a pure PR and a communications person. So my first content that I started producing was Business Trends that is on GH1 television. So it was basically to highlight and promote young SMEs. But on a second thought, I realized that I'm a farmer's daughter and little or none is said about farmers. And so then
Except
I asked,
when they're in trouble.
Exactly.
There's no maize or corn or something.
Exactly. So then I was questioning myself. So if someday any government comes to power and says, hey, those of you who did farming in the 60s and the 50s, bring your videos or pictures, let me give you an award. It means my dad would not get anything.
Because nothing was...
Exactly. When you go to Shah Hills, the Manya family are known for cultivation of habanero, chili, maize, okra, and a lot of vegetables. That's what they do. And yet there's nothing to show forth for. So I told myself, as a journalist, I want to change the narrative. I want to explore a different niche that most people are not exploring. So I put pen on paper and create the concept. And I then had to research for what do I call the name? What will make me distinct from other creators or agri programs? And so I said, okay, the Ghanaian farmer. And so I get my cameras, get my team, and we jumped into the bush. And so we started talking to farmers. How do you grow this? How do you even know this soil is good for cultivating this? The testing of the soil, the process that you go through, what are the challenges, the management, and then the harvest? How do you go about marketing then? What have you achieved as a farmer? It would interest you to know that in this phase of 5 years, I tell you, I don't know how much I could have achieved if I was still producing content around politics or business. But the Ghanaian farmer has taken me places. I've traveled out of this country many times, fully sponsored to go for workshop. I just got back from Morocco, fully sponsored 5 days. Go and learn about crop nutrition and come and teach other young people in Ghana. There's a pending trip to UK. So I tell the stories of these farmers. One is to change the narrative, the negative narrative that young people have about farming. Two is to make young people understand that when it's come to farming, there is more to farming than the whole and cutlass. I decided to be a content creator. It means I decided to explore agricultural journalism. A lot of people thought journalism is all about politics and sport and entertainment, but there is agriculture journalism.
Agricultural beauty.
Exactly. There is
Slaying,
that you can specialize in climate journalism, you can specialize in environmental reporting, and those who are exploring these niche areas, the opportunities there are endless. And our farmers are doing amazing things out of farming. Until you get closer and they tell you a farmer drives this 4-wheel, or this mansion here belongs to a farmer, or a farmer goes to these places, you will never know. So for me, I find joy in telling and changing this narrative, and of course, letting business people know that investment is not all about oil and gas. Investment can also be about agriculture. If you do and do it well, just like there are principles that apply to the investment in the area of estate, there are principles that apply to agriculture. Just apply these principles and you'll be successful. And so it's been 5 years of, making impacts, changing the narrative, and it's been amazing. In our 3rd year, we started to go into the farming ourselves, because I don't want to be telling the stories without experiencing it.
Okay.
And so I did my first, and I'm doing my 2nd term of farming now, and it's an amazing experience, honestly.
What are you farming?
So we are doing vegetables.
Okay.
We do a bit of habanero, a bit of sweet pepper.
Habanero is pepper?
Bakpochito.
I say that Bakpochito. Stress us out like this. Habanero. It sounds like some Spanish. I'm like, hey, we need something there. Like,
yeah. So generally we do vegetables.
Well, you learn something new every day.
And so we do vegetables, but you see, farming should be it should be on order basis. Just like you're going to a restaurant or hotel to eat, and you place an order and you're prepared or served with what you ordered for. That is what people need to understand, that before you invest money in the soil, make sure that you've met an off-taker, a buyer who tells you, this is what I buy for the restaurant or the hotel. In the marketplace, I want you to produce grade. Even in production, we have grades.
Yeah.
So we have the first grade, or grade A, grade B, grade C. And so the buyer can determine that I can afford a grade C, means the quality is so low. But if it's a grade A that I produce in a greenhouse, I'll tell you how much I'm selling it. So even in production, there are grades to that.
And that also brings to the forefront the fact that the food that we eat is also graded.
Of course.
I mean, really, because if somebody says, oh, I can buy grade C, so it's a little not... I mean, you know what I mean, or it's
exactly.
I mean, we do it sometimes. You go to the market and there's a woman selling tomatoes, and it's the same price, but equate bottle, some are rotten, some are, all of that, and so it's. I guess all these conversations will be coming up, Theresa. How what happens in the farm affects what gets into our stomachs, but how much control do we have as people who are not in agribusiness? Over what we consume, because you're offered. I remember I went to buy tomatoes and the ones on top looked so nice. She packed it nice for me, and then when I got home, it was like the 10 on top and then the 20 and
A, B, and C.
I'm telling you, correct representation on the market. So are you going to have conversations, about that too, from the consumer perspective?
Yes, I think the whole idea is to bring everybody together, and the Gastro Festival actually is a B2C, so it's from the business to the customers, to the consumers. So again, we realize that most industry events tend to be within the industry, so like more B2B.
Yeah.
But this is designed to actually be a B2C,
okay,
so that we go into the industry, have all the data, information, everything that they are talking about, and then we present it to the public, so that we can stir up public interest, and that's where we will get the feedback and the interest and the conversations. So as she's giving you the industry insights, you are sharing your experiences, and then as we come together to have those conversations together, we will fashion out a better way of working, so that we know that the consumers want this, so we should be producing this, because she's talking about having an off-taker, somebody ready to buy when you produce, and the consumers are saying this is the type we want. But at this point in time, we don't really know what the people want. We're just doing
We're
anything.
just doing, yeah.
And then people are, the food is coming to the market, and people are rejecting some and taking some. So sometimes I really I wonder about the amount of waste that happens in our fresh produce industry, because I don't think that we uptake them as quickly as is produced.
Yeah.
And so there must be a lot of wastage in the system.
Yeah.
You know, so what do we do even in this space? You know, so if we can have this kind of 360 conversations around farming, around agro processing, around distribution, around consumption, I think the industry entirely will be all the better for it.
Yeah.
And Ghana will be much better for it, because opportunities will come up and we'll see how we can step in to block these spaces. And what does that mean? Employment. More people, I mean, a lot of people are doing side hustles. There are a lot of young people doing side hustles. What about the farming side hustle? What about the countryside, going to the countryside on weekends and farming? We could even have like farming clubs. Groups of people could come together form a cooperative and do farming as leisure. I mean, for on weekends, you know, I feel that there's so much power in being in control of what we consume. You know, I mean, I remember during COVID, a lot of things happened during COVID.
I know, right?
During COVID, when we were stuck at home, I decided to do backyard farming.
Okay, how did it go?
It went very well.
Okay.
For like a few months.
And then
the pests.
Back to
No, the pests.
Oh.
The pests descended, and they kept recommending to me these chemicals as pesticides. But I was like, no, I'm planting at home. I can't get this. I can't be spraying these chemicals on. And they organic types of pesticides. So I felt I didn't get the right advice. So one by one, the plants started dying. It was so nice. So I wake up in the morning. I was taking videos of my fresh produce, like when I'm cooking and I need pepper. I just go and pick the chilies, the green chilies. I just go and pluck a few. I didn't have habanero. I had the green chili. What do you call them? The green chilies.
Yes, exactly. The green
chilies. Yes, then they become red. Yes, so I had that. It was nice. So we are doing breakfast. You just go and pluck some, cut. Then and I used to buy a lot of spinach. Then here was I growing spinach, so I was like, hey, so I've been paying 20 cedis a pack for this spinach. Look at it growing in my yard.
Not contemporary spinach.
No, spinach, actual spinach.
You people won't kill
not
us.
Contemporary, not contemporary.
Please, we know contemporary.
No, it's actually spinach. It wasn't contemporary.
No, I'm saying that because I know that you meant spinach, but a lot of us, like the regular Ghanaians, we feel like it's the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that we, the regular Ghanaians, feel like it's the.
Yeah. No, I remember that when we were children and they said was the English name of contemporary, they would say spinach. But I grew up, I realized that they're two different things entirely.
I'm not sure why we confuse.
Yeah, but I had fun. I had fun growing those produce. I had everything. I had parsley, rosemary. I had.
Oh wow!
It was great. It was so nice being able to go and pluck your things,
and everything
died. It's all gone.
So you won't do it again?
No, for me, I saw that as a pilot.
The there was no space between the question and the no.
I'll do it again because I see it as, I consider it a pilot.
Okay.
Yeah. So now that I've met my agri champions, I know that my next venture into vegetable farming will definitely be successful.
So Enyonam, I'll come to you in a second, Esther. But Enyonam, apart from crops, did you do livestock as well?
So I'm yet to add livestock. So my farm is set up in a way that it's going to be
meant in content creation.
Oh, of course. I've done a lot from aquaculture, which is fish farming, and then I've done piggery, I've done poultry, I've done rabbitry, I've done grass cutter. Exactly. I've done grass cutter. So I've explored a lot of the livestock area. I've done cows, goats.
Wow.
So that people can get to understand the different stages, demand, and the advantages and disadvantages investing in each of these ones. It is lack of information that makes people don't want to go into the space, and they don't know the market opportunities available. So if you're doing something sort of poultry poultry, there are even two types, the layers and the broilers.
Yeah.
If you're doing a layer, it means you want to be selling eggs for some time, and when the
For-
birds are old, you discard them and replace them. If you're doing broilers, it is usually for festive season. Christmas is coming, you quickly do your 6-8 weeks, you sell off. Easter, you sell. Or someone placed an order like this big restaurant says, hey, I need you to do some broilers for me for my restaurant. You make it. So even in the space, you need to know, who am I selling to? The mistake that a lot of people do at the end of the day when they are going to invest is that they don't look out for who are you going to sell to. If you get to know or identify that, okay, Madam Teresa is a type who like these kind of vegetables, and I'm going to be supplying her office every month or every 2 weeks with this volume or quantity of vegetables, they tell you the variety they like, and you produce to meet the taste of the consumer. That way, she pays value for money. But if you don't ask her, and you think because Anyonam is doing cucumber or Anyonam is doing chili, I'm also going to do same, then you produce, and at the end of the day, there won't be bias.
Right. Okay. So if you want to produce for the market, because I mean, I get that there's a section of people who are producing to specific, to meet specific demands. But let's say you have a farm, you have onions, tomato, different things, and you
Right.
take it to the market. Are you? Is that like a form of hopeful selling, or is producing to sell to the market? Because we go to the market. Do you get what I mean? To actually buy, and I know that there are people who like, you know, from the farm is to the market.
Exactly.
With that one, how do you measure?
So
How do you measure how people are going to buy?
right.
Or
So
how-
if you want to sell to the market women, my advice to you is visit the market. Go to Carnation. There is a market queen for each commodity you see on the market.
Okay.
We have queen for tomatoes. We have queen for onions. We have queen for yam. We have
Wow.
queen for plantain.
Sounds like drama.
So,
It is.
so look for these queens and have a conversation. You see, even as a farmer, there's a rule in the market. If you drive your aboboya from your farm and you get to the market, they won't allow you to offload your produce and start selling because you didn't ask permission. They don't know you.
Oh really?
Yes, they have farmers they trade with.
Right.
So if you want to sell to the Kaneshi market or the Agogloshi market, visit there first. There's a farmer I met in Uganda when I went. He was a medical doctor who resigned and he's now doing full-time poultry. He says if you have the money and you take the pain to put up the structures, take that extra pain and go to the consumer and ask them, how do I become a supplier? It's simple. Oh, do you come to the market to pick it? Do you come to the farm to pick it, or I bring it to the market? What is the selling price now? How do you pay? Do I get my money instant, or you give
is
me
it
a few
credit
days?
and yeah,
Exactly.
credit
So there are all these, techniques that you need to know. If not, anymore, you carry your banshee and get to.
And park by the roadside.
Thank you.
And
They will
open
tell
the
you, Papa
boot.
Janaho. And if they have mercy, they will come to you and tell you, what's what on is saying? Buy and turn is
They'll cut
we will
down
give
the
you this
price,
price because
yeah.
they had mercy on you. But if you take the pain to explore and become friends and understand how they trade, you would harvest and have no problem with post-harvest loss. But if you don't have a storage already, cold storage most farmers don't have, because we have only smallholder farmers. Largely about 60-70% of Ghanaian farming population is smallholder farmers. And so it means that these smallholder farmers don't have cold storage to keep their perishable fresh vegetables. So moment you harvest, you need to go to the market.
Yeah, that's pressure.
Exactly.
That's pressure. Yeah.
And that's why you need to talk to them to know, where do I start from? Do I want to deal with the market women, or I want to look for the restaurant and the hotels or the chore bars? Or I want to target corporate people who don't have time. I don't like going to markets. So there is this vegetable farmer who supplies me with my vegetable. I place a call every 2 weeks and then I get.
It's
but now,
amazing that you eat
yes,
vegetables in the
exactly.
first
And now I do my own thing, so I don't have to call you
To
bring it.
yeah.
But there are a lot of women like that who will gladly pay premium for you to shop for them every weekend.
Yeah.
And they don't want to go to the market. So as a farmer, a young farmer, for me, I'm for youth in agriculture, especially the young women. International Women's Day is not only championing and celebrating women, but we are empowering young girls. We want our girls to be financially dependent. to be very, very successful, to be able to take decisions without looking back. So if we are accelerating action, we are empowering the young girls. For me, for the young girls, I'm saying that if you can't farm, you can be a trader. Go to the farmers, look for them, negotiate, take the fruit and vegetables, and look for people who will buy them at premium prices and put money in your pocket. It's as simple as that.
So when are you running for MP? Just one. Just one.
Animwaa. Oh my goodness.
Esther, so let me come to you. So I mean, we've talked a lot about the farming and all of that, but let's talk about women. I think for a very long time when we think of farmers, we think of men. Or it has been portrayed when you're watching like Ghanaian movies and stuff, when the women are going to the farm, it's like they are going to carry they're going to help, or they are just going to carry the load, and bring it back home. So 2 questions, but the first one is that in your experience and your interactions, what do you feel or what have you observed is the main reason why perhaps agriculture and agribusiness, especially from the farming side, has not been as attractive to women as maybe it should be by now?
Well, for me, what I'll say is I see it from 2 angles. The farmers themselves, and Yunam just mentioned that you see some farmer who owns a 4x4, has some mansion and all that. They are not telling the truth to the youth out there.
Okay.
They want to hide the fact that I'm a farmer and I'm poor. I don't have this. Oh, I'm a farmer, I don't have this. No. We should be proud of who we are. That is the only way it becomes an attractive venture to the youth out there. The doctor is very proud to put on their coat, go to the hospital. The teacher is proud. The lawyer is proud. Why is it that for the farmer, the person just decides to wear anything and then just appear on the farm? You can also look good. Have your handbag, look very good, get on the farm and then change to your working gear. This also makes it attractive to the young person over there. Looking at you, seeing that, hey, Charlie na farm and wait to me, I say, why I say there, then it's possible. I can also do it. There's been an issue where you have a cassava farmer going through all the hassle to take the daughter through to the university. She finishes and wouldn't want to use her knowledge to support the farming business. Why? It's because of what she has seen. It's because of the way the parents portray themselves to make it look like if you are into this sector, then there's nothing to go home with or you are poor.
There's nothing exciting.
There's nothing exciting about it. And it's one thing that is really killing the sector, that is not making it look like most of these young people want to go into it. But I'm glad because the narrative, I should say, hasn't really changed but it's gradually changing because there are a lot of initiatives that is being done, just like the Miss Agriculture Ghana. Now you have a lot of university students who want to find out, they want to know, because we use this beauty as a bait to bring you into the sector. Now you come in and then we open the whole sector to you and let you know that it's not even really about just being on the farm. There are lots of things you can do along the chain. An agricultural journalist is here. What else can you also do? There are a lot of companies or food businesses that are coming up, a lot of products that are coming in. Can we even have young people who are the faces of these products? These are ambassadorial deals for young people, and they are in the sector. Agri-influencers, a chunk of young people or young ladies are on social media. How are they using their various accounts? Anyunam has a YouTube channel. She's on Facebook. She's here. She's making money out of that, promoting other people's businesses. And these young people, all we know is waking up, taking the pictures, turning our bodies left, right, and then take all these pictures and just post on TikTok. But is it okay to also have a locally produced product? Because we are encouraging young people to come up with products. They are doing it, but where is the market? But if we are able to link these people to young people who are also very vexed with this social media, they are turning their bodies, but they are not just turning. They have products, agricultural products that are made, and through that they are making money out of it. And it will look attractive to them. Now they are coming into it, but we also need to come out with more innovative approaches. That is why Miss Agriculture Ghana is there. Now somebody feels like, hey, me Greek mukra meets me slay. Ane, ubet me aye on else no. Ukodona and now ye on your bay and you now bar. Also bet me account bet me looking good. And yes, because we are great kintin or not to say
you are not
part of it. Yeah.
I get that. But I'm also thinking that the health and lifestyle industry is huge. And it's almost like I don't know if you remember, I think that maybe 9-10 there was a season when like the shea butter thing became it was a vibe. It was fashionable, you know, the whole, you know, natural thing. And I'm wondering that I'm sure you'll be having conversations like that, but I'm wondering, why are we not maybe as interested in building the agribusiness as a, you know, health and lifestyle, you know, kind of thing? Because I mean, in the West, they're big on organic stuff. In Ghana, we assume everything is organic. You know, it's an assumption. You know what I mean? But there's so many things we could do too, right? You know, promoting the organic stuff. You know, even with weight loss, fresh food, weight loss, cooking. You know, for yourself and all those things. So maybe I don't know if you add that to your.
Yeah.
You know, so
you see, this event by Charterhouse is one such platform. Now, agribusiness is not just going. Just imagine somebody here in Charterhouse now trying to do something in agribusiness.
Yeah.
We are trying to take the Christian approach. We are preaching the gospel of agribusiness to every sector in this country.
Wow.
So we are bringing it to your doorstep. If it has to do with lifestyle and what, we are bringing agribusiness to you. How or what role do you have in agribusiness? If it's a financial institution, a law firm, there are women who are trying their best to own lands but having issues. So as a law firm, you can also decide to just be fighting for the cause of women in agribusiness. Because these women, there are even parts of this country where, even in this age, a woman who can acquire a land on her own needs to go and seek permission from the husband before you come to even the chief to talk to the chief to own the land. So do we have law firms who can even stand for these women, assist them, so each and every sector can actually do something in their. So agribusiness is a daily thing.
It cuts across. Teresa, I'm assuming there'll be funding conversations.
Yes,
because obviously it's agriculture is. Let me not assume. Is it capital intensive? I mean, I'm thinking obviously, you know, the land, the seeds, the workers, and all of that. Okay. So I'm sure funding is a big thing, because and you know, I was talking about, you know, the youth, you know, getting into it, and it all sounds really good. But if I don't have money, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I live in a compound house. Like, where am I going to farm? Everybody talks about, oh, you know, there's Dodowa, there's, you know, the Volta. But like, I don't have money to buy the land. Like, how do I start?
How do you get started? I think, I mean, I'm not an agricultural expert, but I create the platforms for the conversations to be had.
Okay, so you'll be having the
at the
funding.
small levels, at the bigger levels, definitely. So the purpose of the festival I'm talking about, the Gastro Festival, is to bring the entire industry together, to really open it up and have these kinds of in-depth conversations about the entire value chain. So we've talked about the farming, and she's talked about the various opportunities in farming. Now let's even move it to agro-processing. What are the opportunities in there? Let's move it to distribution. We talked about distribution. I think that when I look at our food system and the value chain, I think distribution is a whole big area.
It's huge,
where I feel we have not done much, and and for me, when I see a problem or I see lack of activity, I feel there's an opportunity. So I see that there's a huge opportunity in that space, you know. And she was talking about, Elena was talking about marketing, insights, and research, and all of these things. And I was thinking, as she was speaking, that these things you're talking about, these are the things that corporations do. They go to the field, they do research, they do insights before they produce. And they make sure they're producing according to demand, etc. But these are things that we are doing in big organizations. But these same principles can be taken to the agri sector.
When we are thinking of farming, you're not thinking about,
you know, like for example, we have a lot of marketing consulting companies. Are they providing these services for the agribusiness sector? You know, so that so that they can teach them these principles that in order to produce this, you must make sure you have a market. You want to sell, you must go and do your investigations, do your research. And these are things that corporations do on a regular. I mean, I've worked for a lot of multinational companies, and they will never produce any product without having done the full circle of research, testing, everything. Even sampling of products. We see them in the malls all the time, asking people to sample. They do all of these marketing, strategies to be able to sell. So the same way should apply for agribusiness and produce. All these marketing principles must apply along the value chain. But it looks like we've left the farming and the agribusiness to I don't know, to sort of an informal level, and the corporate business takes place at another level. So there's this divide,
It's a gap.
So how do we bridge the gap and bring people with all these corporate skills to the sector also, and apply these same principles in these areas as well? And it's so ironic that the agribusiness sector is what feeds the country,
Right.
it's what feeds us.
And we like food as Ghanaians.
And then we complain when we are importing tomatoes from Burkina Faso.
Right.
I was like, why are we importing tomatoes? We can't grow tomatoes in Ghana. In my backyard, I can grow tomatoes. So why are we importing? But we are importing all sorts of produce that we go and buy on a market where we think we have produced.
We didn't.
But they are coming in through the borders, even fresh produce. You talk about imports. The canned foods and the processed foods are coming in as imports. How can fresh food also, tomatoes and onions that we can grow in Ghana, we are importing? How? So those were the kind of things that really were rallying me up, and I was like, we've got to do something about this, especially when my house help went to the market and brought me a small bowl of tomatoes. He said it's 200 cedis. 200 cedis tomatoes.
Wow.
How?
Yeah.
Those were days when we used to buy like a whole basket.
Oh dear, 200 CDs was a lot.
Yeah, but now I was like, what's happening? What's happening? There's something affecting our food system, and if we all don't show an interest and get involved in making it better, I think we'll be in a very bad state in the future. So I'm happy and excited to see this young, eloquent, and sassy young ladies, talking so passionately about agriculture. And these are the conversations that we are hoping to stimulate with creating the Women in Agribusiness panel during the National Women's Summit. Let me just use an opportunity to announce that panel will be sitting from 4 to 6 p.m. On Friday. So if you want to be part of this conversation, you want to hear more about women in agribusiness and how women are playing, what roles women are playing in the sector and the opportunities in the sector, please show up at the National Women's Summit this Friday, just 2 days away. From 4 to 6 p.m. to catch the panel discussion.
Okay. I'm also interested in what you'll be doing for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But I'll come back to
that,
you on that, just before we go. And I have a question for you from one of our listeners. She says that she heard that some market women have some sorts of chemicals which they mix with water. And when they wash it around the fruit ripens automatically. So if the fruit is not ripe, then it will ripen. She's asking, what can we do to stop the market women from doing this? A friend says she knows a market woman who does this. Do you hear about these kind of stories?
Well, it happens, not just fruit, but even in vegetables. You see, we need a lot of awareness. We need a lot of education created. Unfortunately, Ghana's agriculture ministry never look out for people like myself and Chirwa to consult us to be even. Have you ever heard brand ambassador for agriculture in Ghana? There is nothing. So I hope John Mahama's administration will change that narrative.
I think
they will look John Dumelo.
To be fair, John Dumelo
John Dumelo has a lot of work to do, and if he fails us, he will be in trouble.
I don't think he'll fail because he was doing great before he came.
Yes, that's how it is. When you get into the space, it's like something catches you there. On their own, they do great. Wow. But when you go into the politics, it looks like you are controlled and directed as to what to do. You see, this thing, food that we are consuming, there's a lady on the panel, she does food processing. Mm-hmm. I interviewed her, and she said one time she ordered for palm oil to export.
That's Mienan.
Yes. The palm oil got to the UK, a whole container, it was destroyed. You know why? Because they added sodium to the palm oil.
That's color.
Henceforth, when you are going to buy palm oil,
can you just clarify what sodium is?
Sodium is a chemical that they add to the palm oil, making it look more reddish than the usual palm, color. So when you're going to buy palm oil, look at it very well. A palm oil that is so red you should have a problem with it. There should be that one that settled down looking a bit white, and then the top is looking a bit normal like red. But when A to Z is red, you have to be careful. A lot of wrong is happening in the markets. Right from the farm gate, farmers who want to harvest tomatoes, the tomato is not ready. There are chemicals you can buy, you spray, it becomes ripe, they harvest and sell. So we need education and awareness. And you see, it cannot be done just seated in the city on radio. We have to get down to the rural areas and educate the farmer, educate the agrochemical dealer who sells chemicals and doesn't even know, that he doesn't read and understand the description on the bottle, to educate the farmer who is coming to buy it. So we are hoping that the agriculture ministry will engage young people who are actively in this space, working to become ambassadors in different fields. If it's aquaculture, the fishery minister should look for young people who are championing aquaculture to be ambassadors. Honorable Eriko Poku should engage young people in agri space who are educating, who are changing negative narrative to become brand ambassadors, to educate from the farmer to the market woman to the final consumer. Because there is a lot of work to be done. There is a lot of work to be done. What he's saying is no lie. Even beef, I'll stop eating beef. The day I saw market women spraying, this mosquito spray. Market woman spraying mosquito spray. Why? Because she said she's protecting the beef from flies and becoming maggots. you will not know, but you go and buy the beef and eat. So we need education, my sister. If not, you are eating poison. Illegal mining. Our waters are destroyed, contaminated. If a farmer grows your cabbage with illegal mining water, how will you know? You are only going there to buy cabbage in the market and come and cook. So me, right now, I don't buy cabbage from the open market.
Clearly, yeah.
There is a lot of education that needs to be done. And politicians alone cannot do it. The minister cannot reach every single farmer in this country. You need to engage more hands, active young people, support them to go and create awareness and educate the people. Okay? So you asked a question about if farming is expensive. My sister, it is very expensive. But there is, it's in stages or phases. Stuff like mushroom, stuff like buying the vegetables and packaging, you can start from somewhere. Farming is no joke now. It is expensive. You need money.
But it's profitable.
It is. It's worth it. Just apply the principles. Do the right market survey and you'll be good.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. If you would like to hear more of this conversation, then the place to be
is the National Women's Summit on Friday. We are live from 9 a.m. all the way to 6 p.m. And we finish with a happy hour at 6 p.m. We have one of our agribusinesses, Tilly Farms, providing some hot smoked grilled chinga, pork kebab with sausages.
And there should be something against people who come at that time. Just for that.
So basically, conversations start from morning till evening. From 9 o'clock is guest arrival. 10 a.m. we have opening remarks. We have keynote speaker, Madam Ifwa Gate, the first female president of the Ghana Bar Association. She's a keynote speaker. And then we also have a business panel that starts the day from talking about overcoming barriers to success, to leadership in corporate and public sectors. So we have a panel made up of eminent corporate women and public sector women talking about the challenges and the barriers in that sector and how they've been able to overcome them and what can be done to help more people overcome them. And we also have another spotlight for us is the affirmative action law, which was passed in July last year. And we've kind of formed a relationship, collaboration with the coalition that led the passing of the law. And we want to do like a tracker every year to see what's progress we are making as women. And first of all, it's about information. If we do not even know what the law says and what our rights are as women now permitted by law, we will not be able to support government in the implementation because there are aspects of the law that cover corporate organizations that cover women in business, access to funding and all of that, as well as youth. So we'll be looking at it across all those areas.
Okay.
And also we'll have the women SME panel as well. We'll have talk about access to funding and different types of funding, like equity funding, etc. I know in Ghana when we talk about funding, we all think it's debts, going to borrow at the bank or grants.
Yeah.
But there are also equity funding opportunities as well. So we'll have someone speaking to that, and then we also have an SME workshop that will be done also in the afternoon. That's by MTN, and then we also have the panel in the evening. From 4 to 6, the Women Agribusiness panel.
Agribusiness,
And it's during that event that we will launch the Gastro Festival,
Okay.
which will now have the broader conversation after the event.
Okay.
So if we see me here next time, it will be talking more
About
about
the
the
gastro,
festival
yes,
and
okay.
all the bigger
I look
conversations
forward to
around
that.
it.
I look forward to that.
But another important aspect, which anyone was very passionate about, is the youth. And what the National Women's Summit always brings the youth along. So we always have the youth in secondary school, in tertiary, and
Coming in
other
to-
institutions coming in and being part of the festival to hear and listen and learn and also be empowered. And we've created a youth forum out of it. So we have a career guidance section, we have a speed mentoring session. So if you want to sign up for speed mentoring, just come up to the event
On Friday.
On Friday,
9
part
o'clock.
of that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Theresa, Enyonam, and Esther. It's been great talking to you. This has been Strong and Sassy. My name is Animwaa Anim Addo. We'll be back next week, handing over to the news team now for the 8 o'clock news.